Hey guys, this is Travis at Nashville Airsoft. Today we're going to be talking about the new Jag Arms series of Mosfets. This is going to be the processor unit for the version 2 that they just recently came out with. These Mosfets are made by Jeff Tron originally, and so they've got a very wide array of Mosfets for micros, active braking, and today we're going to be talking about the processor unit. This processor unit, as you can see, has kind of an interesting design, how it's stacked together. And again, you can see on there, if you look real close, you can actually see right there maybe where it says it's made by Jeff Tron. First thing you're going to notice with this is the switch is a little lever, kind of like you're going to be familiar with seeing on the back of a lot of your HPA systems. It's just a one-sided lever, it pushes one way, and so that's actually going to be the switch assembly. Next thing you're going to notice is this lever right there that your cutoff lever is going to actually hit to initiate semi and full auto. So with your package, you get an instruction manual that just showed you. You get the unit, which has plenty of wiring, as well as some positive cable. All right, so to get this gearbox ready to install the unit, first we're going to remove the spring and the tappet plate, bring out the whole spring cylinder head assembly. For ease of installation, we're going to go ahead and just pull all the gears out. At this point, you got a pretty clean gearbox. What we're going to go ahead and do is remove the screw for the trigger assembly. It keeps that thing in there. Pull that screw out, put it off to the side, pull the spring off the top of the trigger trolley, and we're going to remove the entire system. All right, so at this point we've got this gearbox cleaned, or cleared out, ready to drop in the unit. All right guys, so we have put the unit inside the gearbox. We ran the wiring for it. So you can take a look here and see, we've got the screw to secure it, and you can kind of see how the profile, how this thing sits in there. Should fit pretty well. One thing I will note in the instructions, it does mention that you do need to shave the backside of the trigger a little bit, and so it took a little bit off, if you can kind of tell and see. That is so it does not hit this right here, which is the actual switch assembly. When test fitting it, you could tell that it definitely would have hit the housing just a little bit, so just shaved it off with a file and we should be good to go. So we've got the gearbox back together. The Mosfet's obviously installed inside of here. Pulling the trigger, we can feel that it's not hitting on the switch assembly. One thing I will note, you are going to need to have your own motor connectors. So we're going to strip these down, get the motor connectors on here, as well as obviously put our Dean's connection. One last thing I will say, it does mention that in the instructions, this signal wire, you are going to need to tie this into your power wire. So I'm just going to strip a little bit off the wire, solder it on, and then shrink wrap over all that so that we have everything nice and clean. But the directions does kind of show a configuration on how to set that up for you guys. All right guys, so we've got our connector soldered on our Mosfet. Here's where I tied in the signal wire to it, just by kind of splicing it on, tacking some solder, and then re-shrinking it. Got our motor connectors obviously on there, closed up. When you're using this unit, when you hook up the battery, it's going to beep once and then do a long beep to let you know that it's set up. And then at that point, you're good to go. All right guys, and so once you've test fired, made sure the Mosfet works, obviously, we just heard it cycle, so everything's good to go. You can actually go into programming mode for this. To do that, what you're going to do is click the gun onto semi, and then hook up your battery. It's going to beep once, and then you're going to have to hold the trigger before it does it again. It'll beep 3 times, And then at that point, you can go into the menu. The menu is in the booklet, and it will tell you all the different options that you might want to go as far as programming. So this can set up a burst. It can do speed or slow down the motor speed. There's a delay setting. There's pre-cocking, active braking, and a low battery indicator, as well as a factory reset. So to show you guys the full programming system, we're going to set this up for the semi, burst, and full auto. So we're going to hook up the battery. It's going to beep. I'm going to hold it, 3 beeps, and then we'll go to 1, indicate that we're in choice mode 1, and then hit it twice to let it know that it's going to do semi, burst, and full. At that point, it just beeped 3 times. Not going to hold anything, and then it's going to do its long beep, and then we've adjusted the burst setting. So a couple final notes with this unit. The installation's really easy to do, modifying, shaving some material off the back of the trigger, pretty self-explanatory. The other thing that I will say is super handy is the actual instruction book that it comes with. It shows you pretty much everything that you need to know about this unit. It shows you, how to check for your cutoff lever, how to modify the trigger, some places where you might need to shave in the gearbox if needed. They give you a wiring diagram for rear, for front, how to test everything, and then, the programming guide for this unit. So if you guys are looking for one of these in your local area, check out your local shops or come here at Nashville Airsoft. Again, these are the Jag Arms distributed Jeff Tron Mosfets.